The moment I saw the footage, I knew something was off. Never have we been allowed to watch things that are gory like that, nonetheless see them on the internet and spread through social media and been shown through the news prior to the Butler rally, which I also think was either fake or something was very wrong. And now all of a sudden, the mainstream media is jamming this down our throats. It's causing a ton of division. There are people with God-given discernment that are sensing that something is wrong with it, knowing what we know about the world stage, and then there are others who are quick to blindly follow anything that calls itself Christianity. We are just at the beginning of the deceptions. If you can't stop and take a second to analyze something or pray on it or ask God about it, you need to slow down. I'm just going to be honest, because you're going to be in trouble if you don't ask God about these things. This is just the beginning. I'm not going to show the things that have gone viral that are weird about it, like the book detailing it coming out the day before it happened, the GG rings, like the Freemason symbols, the yellow hands. I'm not even going to bother covering that. We're going to look at his wife. So first of all, when she was 17 years old, she began working with the US military, specifically the Department of Defense and the Pentagon. Then she apparently got an invite to be in a pageant, which she immediately won, which is something that you have to train for like years. Like, pageants are not as easy as they look. And that is where she started bumping shoulders with Trump and Epstein. And then Trump eventually introduced her to Charlie Kirk. Now, let me just say, this is not me trying to be insensitive or like not caring that people die. I don't believe that anything on the world stage is real, including all politics, including things like Joe Rogan, Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk. Even before these incidents, I didn't believe that any of them were like people like us. You know what I mean? Because you just don't get that big with the type of opinions that we have. And notice how, yeah, they'll speak against Israel, but they all promote Catholicism very heavily and have Vatican ties. And honestly, I used to really like Candace Owens. I don't want this to be true, but you can't tell me that she does the research that she does and yet is a Catholic and married to a high-level Jesuit. I mean, really think about it. If you watch her episodes, she's having like people that are supposedly ex-CIA people like exposing the CIA's secrets to an audience of like 5 million. I don't think so. That's not gonna happen. They're not gonna allow that to happen. You know who else is trained by the Jesuits? Erika Kirk. And isn't it interesting that she posted this long thing about life, weirdly enough, is a countdown you don't get forever, August 20th. There's your disclosure. Charlie Kirk's usernames are Charlie Kirk 11. I know a lot of you guys have probably seen the 3 hats lined up where it adds up to 11, 11, 11, and then it makes 33 like on the shooting footage. So just take note of her eye color and what her eyes look like, and I'm going to show you some stills from videos of her talking, both recently and a few months ago. That's weird, her eyes are yellow. I'm sorry, but if you don't see what's wrong with these, you don't have discernment. They are literally reptilian. They're up and down like almonds. And they're yellow. I mean, you don't have to have sharp discernment to look at these and be like, okay, this is weird. And when you go frame by frame, the majority of them, her teeth are like razor sharp. This woman has like a perfect smile. You can't tell me that this is like just blurry footage or something. So this eye is yellow, and that one's red and like reptilian when she has bright blue eyes. I didn't alter this footage. You could go and do this yourself. Just go to her Instagram and look at the footage and slow it down. The teeth, again, and this one was a few months ago, so way before the media circus. Not only are the eyes really weird, but again, sharp teeth. And again, this woman has a perfect smile. When I searched up her name, I clicked an article, and this was one of the photos that they featured. Look at her eye. It's completely darkened even though it's open. I know she's squinting, but her eye is completely dark. So then I looked through a couple of her stories. She went to the Temple of Athena Nike in Greece, which I've been talking about. Athena is the whore of Babylon, and I do believe she's coming back. And she captions it, idol heaven on earth. And then goes over to the Acropolis, which they are rebuilding. They just put new elevators in. It's really, really weird. And when I was asking around why they are rebuilding it, everybody was acting shady and like I was like doing something wrong. She wrote, and when Apostle Paul arrived in Athens and saw this place, he went down to Mars Hill right below and stood in the shadows of this exact altar. Again, you don't need crazy good discernment to be like, why is she saying that Paul stood in the shadows of the altar that's to Athena Nike, which is the whore of Babylon. That's in Acts 17 where he says, God doesn't exist in a temple made by man. Why would she go up to the Acropolis and post these things? And if you look through her stories, she loves the Catholic Church, of course, all things that are like idol worship. Like, I mean, she literally wrote idol heaven. And Charlie Kirk had just recently called for a full military occupation of American cities once they liberate DC. The last thing he posted before this happened was that we need an all-out war on crime or more innocents will die. And then the girl on the subway, which was very clearly like some kind of AI footage, people zoomed in. The guy wasn't even holding a weapon. Like, the whole thing was just really weird. There were people that pulled up different instances where it's the same exact girl, and they claimed that like she had like some kind of brutal death. She had a whole bunch of like pictures and videos where she had the MK Ultra stuff all over her, like the monarch butterflies and like doing like hand symbols and stuff like that. And then her last name doesn't exist. It was only her and one other person in the entire world that has that last name. The last name translates to from the ditch. The first name is the name of a Celtic goddess, which is fine, but it also means peace. So as a whole, it means peace from the grave. And spiritually, I don't care who calls me a conspiracy theorist. This is the truth. When they're telling you to say a phrase or say a name, or they intentionally push something to trend, that is because they need to siphon all of our energy to complete a ritual. They need to siphon everybody's energy. Anger, fear, anxiety, any type of stress helps them move forward if they can direct it where they want it to go. So they want you to say this name that means peace from the ditch or the grave over and over and charge it with negative emotions. A day or two before this whole thing happened, he posts this.
Okay, everybody, you've probably heard the situation that happened in North Carolina. Say the name Irina Zarutska. Irina Zarutska was just riding public transit. By the way,
He goes on to say the name like 2 or 3 more times in that clip. Why would they so directly be like egging you on to say the name and be upset? Same thing with Elon Musk. Do you really think that these bigwigs care about the little people? Why is it so specific when they do care? If you read the book, The Art of War, we are basically living that out, and most people are falling into it 110%. Because what's happening is they're basically neutralizing their opponent very effectively because of the lack of discernment. A lot of Christians mix their faith with politics. People yell at me for talking about it, but I'm trying to pull people out of the fire. Politics are not real. People are attaching their faith and their walk with God with a political activist that's on the world stage.